to CSL Leesburg. So the theme for 2025 is rising higher, growing deeper. And the theme for the month of April as we move forward into spring is fertilizing our future. How appropriate. And the title of our talk today is Enriching Our Soil of Possibility, and it will be given by our wonderful Reverend Charlene Banks. We're so glad that you took some time out of your day to join us. If you have any prayer concerns or celebrations, please be sure to include those in the chat. And when we get to our prayer portion after the message, Reverend Charlene will be sure to include that when we do our affirmative prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment. All right, you made it, you're here. Relax, sit back, and enjoy our welcoming video. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is. All right, and now it's time for our meditation. So we always begin with a deep breath. Sit back, sink into your chair. Relax your shoulders, your neck, any place where you feel that you might be carrying some tension or stress of the week. And let's begin with a few deep breaths. So inhale, hold, and exhale. Let's do that again. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. So, fertilizing our future and enriching our soil of possibility. Charlene will give our message in a little bit, but what makes the ground fertile? Gratitude. So during our meditation today, we're going to focus on gratitude. So I want you to think of something that makes you happy, that makes you just bubble up with joy inside, makes you feel like you did when you were a kid and it was your birthday or the last day of school, or you saw a butterfly. Think about children, how every little thing just creates joy in their world. Just smile to yourself and maybe think of one person who has enriched your life so much. One person that makes you feel gratitude, because some people might say happenstance, coincidence. We know it's divine intervention. That person was put into your life to help you, support you, love you, maybe even teach you. And let's just think of that person and just allow that gratitude to just fill up your thoughts, fill up your heart, even fill up your body. Just let gratitude, just like a gentle rain, soak in on every little cell in your body. I have so much gratitude for, you insert the name. My life is so much better, so much warmer, richer, because that person is in my life. I know that I am blessed because this person travels with me in this part of my journey. Now, let's move on. Let's try something else. Think of an event in your life. Think of something that maybe happened to you recently, over the weekend, over the past week, over the past month, or maybe even something that happened a while ago, maybe even a long time ago, maybe something from your childhood. And let's just recall that event. And you can add this even. Perhaps it was something that didn't seem like it was significant, or maybe it didn't even feel comfortable at the time. But now as you look back on it, oh, the lessons learned, the growth that occurred. Think of that event. You can name it and say, I am so grateful. I am so very grateful that I got to experience this. I got to live this moment. I got to play a part in it. Maybe even I got to create this. And as you're in this state of gratitude for this event, realize that this event didn't just bless you. How did it bless other people as well? And oh, there's more gratitude for that. This is an event that occurred to me, that happened to me, didn't just affect me. It's all ripples on a pond. What we give, so shall we receive, right? The law of circulation. And let that gratitude just once again soak into every cell. Fill every thought. Fill your heart. And that is where we'll end our meditation for today. So open your eyes if you had them closed. Shrug your shoulders if you need to do that to come back to us. Wiggle your toes. And then sit back and enjoy the music of Leah. brighter day. Some of us keeping our minds on the reason. Beautiful season is coming our way today. Could be the day. Hey, little flower, you got the power to push through green blankets. You're ready to grow. Hey there, sweet bluebird, tell me what you heard. I want to sing that great song that you know. Wake from your slumber and try to remember a time when we all were together as one. A new day is coming, yes, there will be sunshine. Wipe away teardrops, springtime will come. It's been so lonely, but that was only our chance to realize the love that we need. Come take my hand now, let's make a plan how to stay wide awake. Let's fly you and me away. Wake from your slumber and try to remember a time when we all were together as one. A new day has come, tell me you feel the sun. Wipe away teardrops, springtime has come. I'm wide awake now.
Thank you, Leah. That was so amazing. I love that. Did you hear that little line? She said, try to remember the time when we were one. That's pretty cool. Welcome to April. Wow, the year is, I'm going to keep saying it every time, every year. They go by faster and faster. But good morning to a new month, fertilizing our future, and enriching our soil of possibilities. What? I love this title. And of course, the titles are given to me, but with this title, it made me just coalesce a lot of the things that have been going on, at least for me. And I know that if you live in the United States of America, they're happening to you on some level. And what I'm talking about is our ideas that we hold for our future. So work with me as we talk. Here we have this title, Enriching Our Soil of Possibilities as we are trying to fertilize our future. So I need to ask you a very pertinent question. What types of seeds are you planting today based on, well, I'll leave it at that. What type of seeds are you planting today? And the reason I ask is because our future has not arrived yet. And if we believe some of the fear that is placed upon us by the news stories and the worst case scenario possibilities that are being presented, a lot of times, if we do not examine these seeds before we drop them in our fertile soil, that will become our future. So we are at a time where we can actually pause and we can ask ourselves, is this the highest thing that I can hold? Is this the highest idea that I can hold for myself in this moment? Is it? That's why I love Tamara's meditation. The gratitude that we fertilize our soil with, that gratitude is more likely to help us understand and to realize the future that we do want and put those seeds of intention into that soil. And that, as I talk about the seed and the soil, we know that this is the metaphor that we use in our mental practice as science of mind, created by Ernest Holmes. As he declared, it's sort of the thought that we hold in our minds is the seed. And if we train that thought on that which we do want, then that becomes a trained thought. And the trained thought is a seed that has more umph inside of it. And then we put it in our soil, which is sort of accepting it into our being through practices, prayer, meditation, visioning, gratitude. We put it there. And then the universe says yes. It just knows how to bring that seed to its ultimate fruition. That's the analogy. And so as we look around in our current environment, what we're looking at are the plants from our past thoughts, what we thought about in the past, what we trained our minds on in the past has come to fruition. And in this moment, we only have now, we get to decide what ideas, what visions, what intentions we will continue to hold so that they can continue to come to fruition. But there's a point where we get to choose. There's always that point. You know what I'm talking about when you're in a conversation with someone, and it could be someone with the opposing political point of view, and they say something that makes you want to just react. But that pause, they call it a pregnant pause for a reason. That pause is where you get to choose, how will I respond to this person? And this is a person. Go back 20 years if they were still if they were on the planet yet. Go back 20 years before we were so polarized. Would you see that person as a person, or are you now seeing that person as a set of political leanings against which you must fight? It makes a difference, because how you respond or react is going to determine these seeds that we're planting and that will become our future. My point is, we are still at choice. We still are. America knows that. Did you see yesterday? Everybody came out. Everybody protest. By everybody, I mean those that are inclined to express themselves in that way, organize themselves, and exercise their right, which is still currently our right, to speak out about the things that we don't agree with in an organized, nonviolent fashion. And of course, this isn't the first time we did something like this. Again, we remember the civil rights era where everybody was protesting. The people who were led to do that in that way, they were taught how to do it. And they were taught to show up, to be nonviolent, and they had this phrase, keep your eyes on the prize. And that was a useful little phrase that kept everybody envisioning the future that they do want. It kept in their minds what we're working towards. And what that did was it gave them a little more oomph to sort of deal with the German Shepherd that's being released upon, these are civilians of the, yeah, and fire hoses that are being unleashed upon peaceful protesters. This is what they had to deal with. And how did they do it? They kept their eyes on the prize. So what if we, who are much more comfortable now, thank goodness, thanks to that activity, what if we still were able to do that? What would it be like if, yes, we went out, if we were inclined to do it, or simply if your way of protesting is not necessarily out there with signs, I'm sure there are other ways for us or for you to express yourself. And as you're doing it, I just invite you, keep your eyes on what you do want. What is it you're working for? And your seeds of intention are even more powerful when not only are they focused on what you do want, what possibility you're trying to bring forth, but also if that possibility nourishes everyone. Extra points if it nourishes those who cannot speak for themselves, nourishes those who are currently oppressed, repressed, or exiled to a whole different country without due process. Pick your people that cannot speak for themselves, and then hold that vision and move forward from that. And you'll find that you are no longer fighting individuals who all of a sudden grew a pair of horns and now I want to destroy the person. No, 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 nothing like that. Nothing at that level. It's completely higher while somehow being deeper. And now we're back to the annual theme, rising higher, growing deeper, both at the same time. This is what we're talking about. This is the vision that moves through us. And when we are inspired by that, oh, try to hold me back. Try. It's amazing the power that we get. And it's not just a power from an ego-driven, I want my stuff. It's more of a sense of freedom that we all know that we deserve. And we all feel it when it's trying to be taken or would attempt to flee. This is what we know. And so therefore, we're doing things that support what we absolutely know to be true. And as we come back to the spiritual principles, now I ask you, consider something. You've had challenges in your life. You have, I have, we all have. And those challenges, as Tamara had you look back and you were thinking of events, I couldn't help, and let full disclosure, I couldn't help. When she said, think of a person, I had like 4 of them. Some of them are right here in this room. And then I thought back of events, and not every event I thought of was at the time considered to be great. Oh, look at that. Isn't that wonderful? No, it was the opposite of great. But can I tell you how much those experiences have formed the human being that sits before you today? Let's just call it fertilizer, the poop kind. I'm just saying, listen, everything can be useful. That's all I'm saying. So as you look back at your experiences, we know that these experiences culminated, they coalesced into what it is that made you who you are today. And no, it's not all going to look pretty at first. In fact, you might be doing work that we teach here. You might be meditating, praying, holding, visioning for yourself and in gratitude, but nothing seems to be happening. And I know that's frustrating. I know that's super duper frustrating, but let me tell you a story about Eli. Eli is a farmer, and Eli was at the farmer's market. He's in China, by the way, at the farmer's market. His experience planting and growing vegetables wasn't going so great. Melons weren't doing the melon thing as good as they should, and all of the crops were just kind of meh, and they weren't really feeding his family. So there was a stall where somebody sold Eli a packet of seeds, and that vendor said, this is a new thing now. Buy this, plant this seed, and you will feed your family for a lifetime. And he's like, say less. And that farmer took those, however they say less in China. Okay, fine. And then he took the seed packet, went home and planted the seeds. Now, meanwhile, the neighbors are like, oh, look at Eli. This dude, he falls for everything. And Eli followed instructions, watered the soil. The first year, there was nothing. There was nothing for a whole year. And Eli's like, dang it, maybe my neighbors are right. Maybe I got. Second year went by, and Eli's being faithful. The guy told me, he seemed so sure. I trusted. Second year, watering all the soil, nurturing the soil and fertilization. Second year, a whole second year went by. And now the neighbors stopped being mean because they were like, oh, I think it's mean to kind of taunt people who are differently abled. So they stopped making fun of him because they were like, oh my God, be nice to him. He's special. Third year went by. Eli's like, all right, maybe it's true. Maybe I got. And so between the third and the fourth year, he's standing in the middle of the field and he's just like, well, I'll fine. I'll play out the rest of the year. If nothing happens on year 4, then that's it, tilling it all up and doing something else. So he waters it all again. And at the end of the 4th year, he's standing in the field going, what in the world? He saw a few little sprouts coming and he looks. And I'll tell you, in a week, these bamboo plants had shot higher than the corn, any corn he's ever built. In a couple weeks more, it was taller than his house. So what happened? Let me tell you about the bamboo plant, y'all. This is us, I feel like. And I feel like the number of years might be just right. I don't know. You do your math. I'm not trying to be political here. But the number 4 is kind of a good number. So the idea, though, of a bamboo plant, let me tell you, I looked it up online. Okay, sorry, bamboo. Okay, I have to scroll up. It can take 1 to 2 weeks for bamboo seeds to germinate under the right conditions. 1 to 2 weeks. And for the first 3 to 5 years, the bamboo might seem slow to grow. During this time, what is it doing? It is developing a strong root system. These are called rhizomes, rhizome, as if, maybe some of you do know this. So 3 to 5 years of an underlying system to lay itself. This is what I'm telling you. After the foundation is set, some bamboo species can grow up to 3 feet per day in ideal conditions, and it could reach full height in just 1 growing season, which is just a couple of months. Now, let me tell you something. Eli planted this thing, waited all the years, the bamboo shoots shot up, and sure enough, he ended up feeding his whole family because guess who was lined up? There were people who wanted to make buildings out of it. There were people who wanted to spin it into fabrics. There were people who needed it for all sorts of things. Bamboo is now the best way to build. People are raving about bamboo floors now, and it's so wonderful to have, I suppose, as a material to build under other things. And sure enough, as promised by that vendor, he did feed his family for a lifetime. And he fed the whole village. He was so generous with his crops, which is the other thing I want to talk to, because it is not enough to just think of oneself. As Leah said, we could try to remember when we knew that we were connected together. The bamboo knew that it's connected together. That's what it did all those years, trying to get the foundation right before it could shoot up. Well, we have to remember that we do not exist in a vacuum. We do not exist on our own. I know it looks like we're separate people with separate interests and everybody's an other, but if you look deeper, we are dynamically connected in so many ways that it's kind of scary. To the degree that you and I can become so simpatico in small communities that we can finish each other's, sandwiches. No, sentences. We can finish each other's sentences. So what we do, therefore, is know that we are upheld and undergirded by a force that's so much bigger than ourselves, that is working for our highest good. And that all we have to do is take this already existent creative power. We're already doing it, even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes. We are creating our experience by training our minds on things, training our minds on something, but an untrained, habitual, worrying mind will probably settle on things that it doesn't want. And then it'll grab that thing and ruminate about the thing that it doesn't want. And unknowingly, we're planting all of these weeds. And all those weeds are choking out the things that we do want. So how do we pull the weeds? We simply pull our attention away from the scary things that we would have believed in if we fell for it. If all we were just empty vessels, untrained and unthinking and unchoosing, sure, we might fall into some holes. But as we walk down the street of life and we see that there's a hole, we do fall in it if we don't see that it's there. But once you fall in it, you realize, yikes, there's a hole. Walking down the same street, I'll avoid the hole. And eventually our spiritual practice will have us walking down different streets, right? I mean, there are other ways of thinking. There are other ways of seeing the world. How about instead of fighting, instead of pushing away, instead of cursing this and that, how about we just choose differently? That is within our power. So our dreams are the seeds of our potential, and we are attracted to things that we have the ability to do. I'll say it again. We are naturally inclined toward that which is for us. Things will shine a little differently for me than it will for you. I will look at something and go, oh, I want to do that so bad. And somebody else will be like, okay, you go for it. That's all you. And that's fine. We're not supposed to be exactly alike. No, 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 no. We need everybody to be interested in lots of different things. But each of us gets to pursue things in life and experiences in life. We get to have desires in life that we want. We get to be drawn toward that which is attractive to us. And as we're drawn to these things, they're drawn to us. It's just a mutual attraction. And as we do that, we plant these seeds of desire into our fertile soil of the heart and the soul that has been meditating and nurturing our visions and gratitude and just knowing that it's all gonna be okay in some way, even if it's poop. We could take it and turn it into fertilization for our what we do want. We can do all kinds of things, but it does mean that we have to dedicate our time and our energy to it. We have to dedicate our time and our energy. And so that brings me to something that there's a bit of a tug of war going on right now in the zeitgeist in the world of modernity. What's happening right now is there's a lot of short-term types of attention. People are grabbing. There's two problems, right? First of all, our attention span is short. This is true, but also we tend to gravitate towards short-term, feels good, short-term gains. Get in there real quick, see if it can immediately give us back equal energy. A lot of short-term gains, and we have to be more like that bamboo farmer. We have to kind of say, you know what? I'm playing the long game. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to do the sitting and the meditation and the responding rather than reacting. I'll do those things because I know that they're making me a better person. And I know that when I'm a better person, I treat the world a better way, a way that people aren't yelling at me directly. Right? It's like when I'm kind, people are kind. When I give love, I receive love. When I act like a friend, I make friends. I'm doing those things because I'm trying to create this vision for myself for long-term future. The possibilities are right here, but I've got to be more farsighted to do it. I've got to be farsighted. I've got to do something now that might not pay off for a long time. True? And so when I do that, I am now going to, I'm shifting my attention from this fast-paced world that wants me to react, and I'm doing more of an intentional responding to this world. And this means I might not be taking as many shortcuts because I know I'm trying to grow deeper roots. Shortcuts might not give me what I need to get those roots really in there, you see? And so we might have a temporary distraction. Oh, yeah, I could sit to meditate, but I gotta go do that thing real quick. And I'm the most guilty of this. Yeah, I'm gonna sit to meditate for 20. Has it only been 5? All right, well, 5's fine, right? And then moving through life in a way that, yikes, if I just sat there a little longer, I probably would be moving with a different energy. And even though during the day, we still have opportunities to drop in. And as the breath is one of the biggest ways that I do it, just a lot of breath work. Because yes, life does go on, and maybe you can't spend a whole hour in that chair. Maybe the 20 minutes is fine. And then as you move through the day, breathing and catching that inspiration, breathing in, inspiration, and just moving through life with a bit more meditative sort of approach. Now, when we shift our focus then from the short term, let me just get this thing done, I don't want to have to do this other thing, and we shift it from what can I do for me right now that is for my long-term growth. Whoa, that's when it gets really good. We are doing these practices and we are practicing sustainability. Sustainability. You'll hear this term all month because it is Earth Month. If this is the month in which Earth Day falls. And so we want these long-term sustainable practices that will be available to us even when stuff goes down, even when something could pull us from our base. Well, if we spent that time nurturing the deep roots of our connectedness and our foundational self, then won't we be more rooted and more able to withstand the winds as they come? Won't we be like the palm tree that knows how to sway in those heavy winds? That can happen if we simply get into our foundation. So we have a couple of different ways to keep our practices going so we can stay rooted and create a foundation. And you know what they are. You hear them every time we start service. They're pillars. They're the pillars. We know that we are meditative. We practice meditation and we do spiritual study. Spiritual study. Do we read? What can we read? What can we write about? Can we journal? How can we step into more of our awareness of knowing how things work, how the universe is moving through us? Gratitude. Also, just circulation, that's one of the gratitude. How you give. When you give, it is recirculated back. This earth is a lot of give and receive, and we don't even see it. But as we consciously participate in giving, whoa, look at all those resources coming back. That is what we teach. And of course, spiritual mind treatment. Whenever anybody is stuck, I would love for you to send a prayer request. I believe the form online works. I haven't tested it yet since I put a new one out. Someone test it. Everybody request a prayer this week. I would love to hold you in prayer this week. That is what we do. That's what I do for you as my community. You do it back because community is about that reciprocating love and support and joy. Is it already over? All right. So I will end with a quote from Dr. Ernest Holmes. All right. He says, suppose someone says, I have made a lot of mistakes in my life. I had opportunities I did not grasp. Well, Ernest says, every person has this feeling at some time in their life. This is a direct belief that there is but one opportunity which comes to you, and if you don't take it, you won't have any more. This, Ernest says, is a belief in limited opportunities, and it must be denied completely and specifically. There is no limitation. Completely deny that that's the truth. Also, it's not that you've made no mistakes, but if the belief in the necessity to make a mistake, if that stays in the consciousness, then you'll always make mistakes, he says. There's bound to be a repetition of mistake after mistake. if you think there has to be a mistake. So he goes on, it is scientific practice to declare that there have been no mistakes in your consciousness, that if there have been, then they're now wiped out. There are none. There are no mistakes in the divine plan, and there is no plan for humanity. There's no plan other than the divine plan. I think Ernie should just drop the mic. All right, let's get into some prayer. I'll check to see if there's any prayer requests. Going within and just knowing that right where we are, this precious being that is each of us, that is the presence of the divine. We do not have to go anywhere to experience this presence. We don't have to do anything to be worthy of knowing this presence. There is no barrier. There is no separation. The presence of the divine is right here because that presence is everywhere. There's no space where the divine energy doesn't exist. It's everywhere present. So it's right where I am. It's right where you are. And since that energetic divinity is right here, I love to think of it as sitting right in the center of my heart. And that in this space is the temple of the Most High. Just feel that for a minute. The temple of the Most High is right here. It is nearer than our hands and feet. It is closer to us than our very neck vein. It is us. Feel that. With this energized awareness of our oneness, what is it that we cannot do? All things that we can imagine for ourselves are all possible for ourselves. And anything that we can imagine and dream and vision for ourselves that blesses others, oh, it's multiplied available in us. It is this seed of awareness that just is planted right here, right now in our lives, and it is germinating. And it becomes the fruit of our lives. It shows up as health, wealth, well-being, joyfulness, gratitude, friendliness, a way of just loving other people and knowing that they too are centers of the Most High. And knowing that the high me calls out the high you, we have a connection in which all of the mundane simply falls away, and it is spirit seeing spirit. It is a namaste moment. And this is what we look for. This is our vision. This is what we want in our future. This is the possibility that is so available should we choose to hold it in mind. So I know for me this week, I'm holding that high watch. I'm holding it for each and every one of us in our community. I'm holding it for this nation. I'm holding it for this planet and for the universe, just to toss in another thing. Sure. Because it is all done as I believe, and I am operating as one of all of us. And so whatever I know here can be known everywhere. And so I release this word, therefore, into that law, that fertilization, that way in which the universe just says, yes, I let it go, I let it be, and I rest. And so it is. Amen. Ashe.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone keep it safe below until the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds, picking stones. Life is made of dreams and bones. I feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Rainful rain, sun and rain, find my way through nature's chain. I tune my body and my brain to the music from the land. Plant your rows straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. Old crow watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree, but in my garden I'm as free as that feathered thief up there. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow, and all I need is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Inch by row by row, row by row.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Reverend Charlene, for that fabulous message. And of course, we all love our music from Leah. All right, folks, now is the time that we bless the donations that are given to CSL Leesburg. And as you heard in our opening video, we believe in the law of circulation. As we give, so shall we receive, just like I said in our meditation too. So the donations that you give to us not only keep us coming to you with a message and meditation and music on Sundays, but also we give to our home organization, CSL, and we also look for other organizations that are helping to create a world that works for everyone. So there are so many ways that you can give. Odds are you found a way that works for you. If you're curious, if you're new to CSL Leesburg, you can always go to our website and you'll get information there on how you can support us and join our effort. All right, no matter how you are giving, please imagine that you are placing it, if you don't have it right in your hands, and join me in the blessing of our gifts. Oops, and that's our ways to support. We'll take a moment just to see that. And here's the blessing of our gifts. Here we go. Please read along with me. The presence of Spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I meet. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. So it is, always planting those seeds. All right, now it is time for our announcements. So as always, we always have dream study. You can join Charlene and her friends the next time that they meet. April 19th will be the Saturday that they meet at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can join Charlene and her friends as they meet to interpret their dreams, discuss their dreams, share. Sometimes you need help interpreting your dreams, and that's what Charlene and her friends do on those Saturdays. So our next dream study will be, April 19th at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I don't think we have any other announcements. So it's time for our closing affirmation. Thank you again, like I said, for joining us. If you like what you heard and you want to join us on Spotify, you can always find us. And let's do that closing affirmation. So I love these words. Really take those in, think about what you're saying, not just reciting, but letting those words sink in, fertilizing your soul. Here we go. You ready? I am love.
I
am
love.
Thank you so much. Now think of someone that needs a message. It might be a family member. It could be,
I've seen.
Okay, wait.
it could be a friend. It could be someone who is not in the room with you, but you know that they need this message right now. So let's send them out to that message out to them. You ready? You are loved.
You are love.
You are love.
love.
Beautiful. And now let's put our hands up in the air for something that we call love sprinkles, reminding ourselves there is always a divine plan. There are no mistakes in the divine plan. It is all love. You ready? It's all
Love.
beautiful. Now, before you run off, let me just remind you that we hang out. We do something called pearls. If there was something in the meditation or the message or the music that you would like to discuss, maybe talk some more about, maybe you've got some great insight that you'd like to share with us, or maybe you just want to give us an update. What's happening in your life? What's new with you? You can hang around. It's something that we call pearls. It's our after service coffee hour. Stay with us. Don't run away. But if you do have to go, we understand busy lives, lots of things to do on our to-do list. Know that we send you off with our love and blessings, and we look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Thanks for joining us. That's the end of our service for today. And now we move into pearls. Yay! So for those of you who don't know what was going on behind the scenes, we gave Charlene a Sunday off, so to speak. She just had to do the message, and Dan and Renee were busy behind the scene.
Are we still streaming?
I don't know.
Why don't we wait till we hear from them?